Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are having a fantastic day. So today's upload, you can tell by the title, we'll be talking about a storm system, the same one we've been talking for the past 3 to 4 days. This storm system is not going to be overly impressive, not going to be huge, right? But it's still a big storm. It's going to bring some impacts. It's not a fall-like storm. In terms of it's not huge, it doesn't have ample moisture, but it is pretty strong, and it is going to bring some severe weather, and where that severe weather does hit, it could be pretty impactful. So before we get into this video, if you would like to join the community of weather fans or weather enthusiasts that we have, the weather geeks that we have on this YouTube channel, consider doing so, or if you just like to know a little bit more about a forecast, join this channel. I do forecasts, but they're not official, so for official weather info, go to the National Weather Service or NOAA, but this is for the fun of it, so consider joining. We'll have some fun, and if you are a returning viewer, then you can consider liking the video. But otherwise, let's get into this video. So let's start off by looking at the GFS model. That was hour 300. Let's go back to hour 06, and notice that right now there's not much going on. We do have a little bit of thunderstorms already firing up across the northern Midwest. We also have some showers and thunderstorms across the southeast, Florida, the Carolinas. So that's definitely not good news for them either, because they had tropical storm Isaias. I think I'm saying that right. I know I've been saying it wrong for the past however many times I've said it. And mistakes are made. Hopefully I can improve. But they had a lot of rain from that tropical storm, and any rain that they do get now is just going to be really not beneficial. It's just going to lead to flooding and more saturated soils. Trees could get uprooted more easier if there's like a thunderstorm with wind because of the ground being saturated. So that is that. But let's focus to the north. Notice we get some pretty nice clusters. This could be a mesoscale cluster of storms, and this usually these mesoscale severe thunderstorm clusters usually happen over the night, and you can see that this one does develop in the morning hours today or tomorrow around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning Saturday, and it continues off into Lake Superior. And notice that after that it seems like a bit of calm, if you will, but really later tomorrow, really late tomorrow, almost into Sunday, we start seeing another complex of storms. And again, this is all brought by this first it's kind of almost going to be 2 systems, but I'll just call it one because they're going to be so connected. But you can see this first one brings quite a load of precipitation, also some showers and thunderstorms across Iowa, Missouri, and into portions of western Illinois. But then notice we have this cluster right here coming, developing really into Minnesota, kind of over the same areas. Notice that it kind of tracks over the same area where this cluster was, and it's over a 12 to 24 hour time frame, so that could definitely lead to some flooding. And notice that this is where the second storm starts to take shape, and this one also again has that bigger, I guess, more energy with it, and you can see that it quickly turns from a south to, or from a southwest to northeast movement into a northwest to southeast movement. You can see there it switches a cold front. We get a blast of cooler air for the northern United States, and then you can see Monday, Tuesday, we definitely get some showers across the Midwest and into Missouri, Illinois. It doesn't seem like that much of a flood threat, but definitely heavy rains could, heavy sudden rains. If you get an inch or two within 30 or 40 minutes, that could lead to some ponding. If you have a construction site, that could really pond it up, making things icky. If you have a low-lying street, low-lying areas, a garden, that could really, mess a few things up. But again, it's mainly the winds and rain. There is a possibility of hail. It doesn't seem like it will be a big possibility, or even if it does occur, the hail's not going to be awfully too large. But it's definitely there, so we have to keep an eye on for that. In terms of tornadoes, that's really not a threat with this storm. There obviously are possible. Tornadoes are possible at any time of the year, even December or January, but it's a bit lower at this time of the year. It's not the lowest, definitely, but you got to keep an eye on for them. But at this point, the ingredients aren't really awfully too ready for tornadoes, but again, it's possible. We move forward, and you can see the storm is now way over Quebec and into Ontario, these 2 provinces, and we see some scattered rain across the southern Canadian areas, the bigger cities, Toronto, Ontario, Montreal, Ottawa. I don't know why I said Ontario. Ontario is a province. But notice that we have a little bit of showers in the northeast as well. And then we possibly see some more storms coming through, which we're not going to talk about in this episode, as there's a lot more, I guess, different stuff we could talk about with this first storm. So let's go back. Let's go back to this first storm. Sorry, I'm jumping all over this map. I know it frustrates some folks, and I understand. Let's just stop it at Thursday, as that's where the impacts will probably end from this storm. And let's look at total accumulated precipitation. You can see that, especially across the Northwoods, Minnesota, the UP, the Arrowhead of Minnesota, all of those areas are going to be seeing quite a bit of precip, 2 to 5 inches of rain possibly, and then portions across southern Missouri, really central Missouri, and into western Illinois could also see quite a bit of rain. But generally, wherever these storms do occur, there could be a heavy rain threat, and really at this point it's hard to predict where each storm will occur. For that, we could look at some more high resolution models like the HER model. It's a resolution model that goes out to 18 hours, so it sacrifices its long range for the accuracy in a short range. It does a very good job in a short range, but again, it's only 18 hours. But notice that right now it's still relatively quiet across the northern United States. We see way more activity across the southeast and the west. Again, I'm maybe not talking about the west a lot in these past videos, and the cases, and the reason for that is it's just simply going to be dry, really kind of almost boring weather. It's going to be hot, and in terms of temperatures, it could be a little bit of back and forth swing depending on where you live, but precipitation, it looks rather boring, almost non-existent really. And then you can see the southeast starts to dwindle in terms of rain, but then we start seeing some thunderstorms today at like 10 o'clock erupting across the northern Minnesota area. And notice they transform into the squall line. And squall lines like this, where it starts bowing out like that, is very indicative of a strong wind event. And a strong wind event is possibly as destructive, could be as a tornado, because they occur over a way larger area of real estate. They could be extending for 40 to 50 miles. They could be occurring for a way longer time. And if they do occur, for a certain amount of time and at a certain strength, they could end up coined a derecho. But really, just because you see a squall like this doesn't mean it's a derecho. It's a derecho-like system, has the characteristics, but it has to be a certain length. And you can see this one falls apart, thankfully. But even some of these weaker thunderstorms could still pack a punch in this disorganized cluster. And you can see that moves in throughout the day into Saturday and develops this weak boundary. It really looks as if this, late Sunday will be the next big day for this. But really, definitely some thunderstorms occurring across the Midwest to Minnesota and Wisconsin. And you can see that the Mid-Atlantic kind of calms down, but we also see a few clusters across Missouri. And it's all brought to you by this large storm. Let's look at the NAM model. This one is high resolution as well, but it goes out a tad farther than the HER model. It goes out to 84 hours. You can see it has that cluster. We're waiting for it to load. He has that cluster, that first cluster that passes through, affects us as far east as northern Michigan, and then we start seeing again that spiraling out of control, these little clusters, and really they could be all over the place come Monday and Tuesday, and there will be many of them to track. So I'll give you another update for that, but I want to bring you to the European model and show you what this model is showing. Let's take a glance at this. So we are at surface and precipitation. Notice that it's showing quite a bit of precipitation, the HER model, tonight in the evening and tomorrow during the early morning hours. And you can see the storms up here delivering quite a packful punch across Minnesota and into Wisconsin. Even this far south is northern Illinois, some showers. And then notice we get that resurgence right there across the Dakotas. At first it looks pretty wimpy, but then it kind of gets strengthened throughout much of the day Sunday and into Monday. And you can see it kind of really, there's a nice storm up here. I mean, that storm is pretty powerful, and it will drop a lot of rain across those areas in the northern provinces of Manitoba and Saskatchewan and western and eastern Alberta. The vortex, or the actual storm, won't be occurring over our area, the low pressure, but the impacts most definitely will be affecting us, so that's why it's valid to bring it up. And you can see that it extends across the northeast and still delivers bowing echoes even as far as late as Tuesday and Wednesday, while the storm is still up here. And it kind of splits into another storm. You can see one of these little bands that originates here. Look at it, tracks and starts and turns into its own little storm. That's what the European is showing, and that could bring a little bit of showers into the northeast. And then the European brings more activity. You can see more storms, larger systems. So we'll definitely have to track that. But notice that the eastern United States and Mid-Atlantic is going to be filled, absolutely filled with pop-up thunderstorms. So that's definitely something to monitor as well. Let's take a look at the total precipitation by the European model. And let's just take it through our 114 into the Wednesday, Tuesday time frame. You can see that it does have quite substantial amounts over the areas where it's more confident that rain will occur. This is definitely into the 1 to 2 inch range, and a 3-inch rain event is not common, really. And so when you see 1 to 2 to 3 inches, that could indicate some flash flooding concerns. Notice the southeast also seeing quite a bit of rain where they already have seen rain, so that's definitely a concern. But then, as I was saying, I mean, look at the west. I mean, it's just bone dry. Very bad news for the drought, but unfortunately that's what you're going to be dealing with. And you can see that as we push this further into the long range, the contrast just grows. I mean, we see more in the eastern United States, and in the west it just stays as dry as it was, 0.00 across many locations, while in the eastern United States, in some locations, under a certain thunderstorm, we may be getting over 6 inches plus. Let's look at the Storm Prediction Center and see what they have to say in terms of the severity of the storms. So you can see that they have a slight risk of thunderstorm for today and tonight. So that isn't awfully high, right? But again, I shouldn't have really said that, because just because it's at a slight risk, it doesn't mean that you won't get a severe thunderstorm. You could still easily get one. It's just that the coverage and maybe the intensity won't be as much. But I want to let you know that a severe thunderstorm is commonly overused, the word severe thunderstorm, and just a regular thunderstorm could do damage, could cause trees down, hail, right? And then when a severe thunderstorm tracks over a certain area, it could do just ridiculous amounts of damage. So a slight risk is still something to be not to joke around with. And you can see they have a severe thunderstorm watch across the northern Minnesota area, and that's valid, as it will be raining quite a bit with that squall line. And if you look, tomorrow, Saturday, there's a slight chance. Again, it's the word "slight" is deceiving. It's a slight chance, but you really don't want to encounter a severe thunderstorm. And you can see that into this is now into Monday, I think. We see more again extending into the Midwest, into Minnesota, and again, it's still there, and we need to keep an eye on for this. So thank you guys so much for watching. For more info, go to National Weather Service. Stay tuned, because again, they're going to be putting out watches, warnings, and mesoscale discussions. So go, if you want to read more about this, cpc.noaa.gov, and you'll be able to read this. Not CPC, spc.noaa.gov, and you'll be able to check this out. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.